Oh, well, hello friends, Josevich here. Welcome back to some Hearthstone as we have decided to change it up just a little bit. We'll return some minions to health, or we want to take out our opponent's minions. That's going to be more important for us. We have switched up our decks once again, and we are looking at laddering very, very early in the season with, oh, that's unfortunate for us, but that's also okay. Do we want to coin out the Fire Plume? Do we want to do Wild Pyro shenanigans? Not really. The issue is, of course, not killing this is potentially awful for us. And then the issue is if we play anything else and we don't attack, then our opponent can just use a... What is that spell called? I should know it. Potion of Madness. That's the one. We played a lot of... Yeah, our opponent's getting 2 draws, but that's potentially okay. We played a lot of Priest in the past, so we should know what's going on. So we don't want to be leaving 2 attack minions if we can avoid it. Obviously, right now, our Wild Pyro is not in the greatest position, but basically no matter what our opponent plays, we'll be able to kill it now, so that's nice. If our opponent's going into a nice big Twilight Drake turn or something like that, that's unfortunate. Now everybody dies. Oh, gonna get buffed up and then not die. Interesting. But then we still will die. Unfortunate. But now our opponent's not going to have enough health, so this is kind of interesting the way our deck works. Because our opponent's not able to heal right now, unless they had done something crazy. And then we do have the Fire Plume Phoenix to be able to do a little bit of ping damage. Which Paladins, I mean, you know, Paladins we can be hero powering here a little bit more to be pumping out some ping damage. Oh, those are big buffs. So we do have the option, I guess, to Spike Ridge Steed, but then we'll just probably get hit with a Shadow Word Death, and it doesn't necessarily, well, not necessarily, I mean, it doesn't kill at all. So that's an issue. So I think we can wait a turn. I'm not too worried. Do we want to get away Kodo, is the question. Or do we want... I think we can kind of get away Kodo right now. The issue is we can't go wide if we get away Kodo, so I'm going to prefer to go wide and not play the getaway Kodo, because I don't want to be getting, you know, I don't want to get a 1-2 back, and I don't want to get a 1-1 for sure. Obviously, we're running the risk right now of getting hit with Inner Fire Divine Spirit combo, but that's kind of okay. Inner Fire's not the end of the world. I mean, it's bad for us, don't get me wrong, but that's a major win condition that just got taken away from our opponent. So... maybe this is okay, maybe not. We are actually, I do have a very similar, well, at least from the cards that we've seen, I do have basically a very similar style deck. Doesn't matter. Use all your reasons. Although this is extra draw for our opponent, so that's kind of good for them. We're definitely going to equality this turn. Maybe, yeah, no, we have to equality. This minion is just far too big, so we have to get through it. So we just equality here. We punch in with a couple of the ones. And we did have the option of Rallying Blade, but... I'd rather continue to go wide and small. And I guess we can get away Kodo here, because if it is AoE, then we do get back the 2-1. And if it is a Potion of Madness, which we actually probably just played into perfectly, then maybe not. But you know what? If it's a spell right now, then we're getting back the Hydrologist, which is kind of cool, because that's a little bit of value, I guess, right? And then maybe if the 1-2 lives, that's actually decent enough for the Spike Ridge Steed. So that's a bit of value with the secrets. You just get to kind of chain out 2-2s, which again aren't necessarily that strong, really. But it's something, and maybe better than nothing. But we're not quite sure at this point. Doomsayer. Oh my goodness! I was just gonna start talking about the fact that Doomsayer's in this deck. Maybe we just go Rallying Blade. Maybe we just go Rallying Blade and leave it, to be honest with you. I think this might be the easier thing to do. If we Rallying Blade and deny any more draws, that's kind of a nice play. And then I guess we can just kind of Hydrologist here for one more secret. Noble Sack, Redemption. Oh, what do we want the most? I guess we want Repentance for later on. Maybe we could have played it now. And we'll just get that 1 face damage in, because you know it's so important in this matchup. Ugh. That's a joke, obviously. Face damage in this matchup is not very important. Uh-oh. And now we potentially lose, to be honest. Oh, wow, now we really potentially lose. Shadow Vision's almost certainly into a... Oh, actually almost into nothing because the spells are going to be getting cast right now. So that's a bit of a problem for us, obviously. But that's also kind of okay. Yeah, free spells, free infinite spells here do start to get a problem. That's kind of a waste of Forbidden Shaping, isn't it? A 0 mana? Pint-sized Potion's kind of a waste as well, to be honest. I mean, it's a waste except for the fact that, you know, it's just cycling infinite spells. So maybe building up more spells and stuff like that. So, who knows? Who knows what our opponent's planning here? We can do 3 damage. I mean, we can Consecrate and, you know, get rid of the Lyra. Which maybe we should. I mean, we have to get rid of it just because there's our opponent's hand is filled with just random spells right now, so that's kind of unfortunate for us. The Stonehill Defender right now, I mean, it's just slow, and I mean, I want to get rid of this. 2+3, I guess, is something. And we could even Doomsayer now, just to stall out one more turn. I don't even know who that, like, buys anything. I don't think that buys anyone anything. We'll get rid of the Lyra, then we will Stonehill Defender. We can go slow now. Our opponent hasn't played much, to be honest, in the way of real... Oh, boy. Well, it's going to be... We're going to take Sagoth. Because I am... And we will play that secret right now as well. So if our opponent plays something big, if these cards are big cards, then we kill it, eat for free. And if not, well, then we get to slam down Sagoth. I'm really worried in this deck list that we're going up against of our opponent having a mind control, which would be horrible for us. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, we still get the free kill here, but unfortunately, it's not something big like if our opponent was playing a Medivh or something in a control-style priest. But that's okay as well. Or this is okay, I should say. This is kind of an interesting deck. I think this, yeah, Forbidden Healing's basically there for the... for some of the aggro matchups and other mid-range style matchups. But I feel like this is I don't know, this is an interesting deck list to me. I feel like I know where I found it was a bunch of people bringing this style of Elemental Paladin to some of the recent tournaments, which is kind of cool. Oh my, we're not able to kill that right now. Oh, okay. Oh. Wow, that's really interesting. I mean, we can Pyromancer to kill it. That's then our opponent's second inner fire, and all they have is, well, was that a real? That was their, so our opponent's out of real inner fires. Yeah, our opponent's playing a really cool anti-aggro style of priest, right? And then they get their Lyra and Elise shenanigans to win. But our opponent's played both Shadow Vision, so it's only one pack we have to burn through. I kind of honestly like the idea of doing the Wild Pyro. No, it gets hit with Shadow or Death, though. But maybe our opponent doesn't even play Death. Yeah, we can go a little proactive here. So this is 1 damage to everyone, then we attack in. That's a really interesting sort of attack. So I guess if these random spells, that was interesting the way they buffed their Radiant Elemental in order to take out Sagoth. Because I don't think our opponent has much in the way of... Well, there's that. I mean, we were playing Sagoth to dodge the mind control, though, of course. It's double mind control. So I think we're just going to do this. And now we're basically at the mercy of finding... we have really not been hitting our elementals, that's for sure. So, yeah, our opponent's going to have to find some sort of great AoE, which Priest is not known for, as we know very, very well from the past month of playing. Uh-oh. Could be a Holy Nova, right? 1 Pain, 1 Nova. That does it. And a Mind Blast. And what else? Oh! And the Pyro continues to do work. Okay. Okay, so that's absolutely terrifying. What do we want to do more? I think we just need to get out a big minion more. To be honest. I mean, we're not waiting for any elementals. There's so many elementals left in our deck, I think, that... Well, not really. How many are there left that need activation? I guess we need... Servants of Kalimoses? More Divine Spirits. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, we're not killing this anytime soon without equality, that's for sure. Fire Plume Phoenix. We'll get rid of the other minion. I don't know. Do we attack the 4 in? Yeah, I'm going to go for it just to kind of get a little bit of damage in because our opponent can only heal 2 each turn. And then, you know, if we have to, we can kind of heal ourselves with the forbidden healing. Not that we necessarily want to, but it's just kind of good to know that we can. So I think this deck that we're playing will lose to other control decks overall. More buffs. My goodness. Our opponent's gone all in on this Circle of Healing. There you go. Healing. Deal 1 damage to everyone. Heal some more. Perfect. Aldor's a great top deck. I mean, I guess equality has to be done, right? At this point, I feel like it's, you know... It's just one of those things. Do I want to heal for 12? Maybe. Maybe we could have healed for 12, to be honest, but... Maybe we'll be able to somehow get through these things. I mean, there's a lot of great top decks that we can be getting right now, right? Like, Tirion's pretty good. Spike Ridge Steed is even passable just because we'll play it on one of our own minions. Oh my goodness. That's just terrifying. That's a really cool card to see in this style of deck, though, because why not, right? There we go. Stonehill Defender's pretty nice. Do we go Soggoth again, or do we risk the Tirion because we can do it right now? I think we have to risk the Tirion and hope that no more mind controls, right? Because we saw one mind control, and that was created from Lyra. So we just have to hope that there's not a second one in our opponent's hand. 3 out of... what was that? 4 plus 3 is 7. Just going to attack in with a couple of things here, saving one of the minions. That's okay. Oh my goodness, medic. So, I mean, at the very least, we're able to kill off a couple of these minions, right? The question is, how do we do this now? I think we just attack, right? This is only 4 damage, so I guess we can heal up for 20. The question is, how much do we want to do a Spike Ridge Steed? Because our opponent didn't play this spell last turn. This was a Lyra card. And they didn't do it last turn like they would have. If it was Mind Control, they would have done it. How much better is it to have a 1/1 on board? And heal 16 instead of healing 20. I wonder how much it matters. I like the idea of having the 1/1 on board. Because you know, the heal helps us for like many turns at this point. You know, assuming our opponent doesn't top deck something crazy, right? Because if they do, then we're in trouble no matter what. But oh, punished. Perfect. Oh, and we grind it out. What an awesome... Oh, that was our opponent not taking the trade there. And that's sometimes I know I'm guilty of making too many trades. I understand that. But, oh, perfect. That was a really fun deck. This was a fun deck, but this was a really fun game as well. I think we're going to try and do more shorter videos to kind of showcase some more decks here. But we'll keep going with this one. Okay, so we have run into a Quest Warrior, and I honestly think part of the problem here is with this matchup is exactly what I was talking about towards the end of last game, in that we won't probably beat other control decks, I don't think. And I think this is going to be a particularly bad matchup for us, because as we get to the late game, our opponent's taunts are just simply going to be bigger than ours. That's okay for us right now, simply because we do have the Tar Creeper. And that means we'll be able to go face a little bit right here. Obviously, if our opponent does have some sort of AoE mechanic, we could be in trouble. But if they don't, then we're in good. We're in good shape. Oh, boy, and they do have that AoE mechanic, so that's not good for us. And then I think what we want to do... Oh, actually, I don't know what we want to do. Hold on, let's think. So we can Pyro Repentance. And then we're going to triple draw for our opponent, so that's not an option. So I think this is probably the best, and then we'll go 3 to face. So this matchup comes down to... Basically all matchups against Quest Warrior, in my opinion, come down to being able to apply a bit of pressure on your opponent in the early game so that they're switching from Armor Up hero power to Ragnaros hero power is actually a detriment. Now, it's not like we have a whole ton of direct damage in this deck, but we do have quite a bit more than we used to when we were playing Priest decks every single game. That is awful for us. Our opponent's really getting some good draws right now. which is definitely unfortunate for us. But we will continue to be able to apply that Fire Plume Phoenix pressure, which is nice. Continuing to do a little bit of face damage, but the issue here, obviously... Oh, we're definitely going to repent right now as well. The issue, or one of the issues I should say we're having, is our opponent has a ton of resources. Like, they probably have the quest completed. Maybe their quest completed in hand right now. 6 damage on board isn't really threatening that much. Having the Repentance is nice. That's a really strange hero power. Oh, that's also kind of strange. So we get a little bit less face damage in this way, but maybe we'll see how next turn turns out. Tirion is going to be kind of awesome for us. And I feel like we do need to go wide right now and apply a little bit of pressure. Just because we're 1 turn away from Dirty Rat Brawl, which would mean Tirion dying. But knowing that we're going to set up for a turn 8 Tirion, it kind of lets us go a little bit faster next turn if we need to. Like, we're going to basically kill this no matter what this coming turn, which will allow us to play Tirion the following turn. Yeah, down to 1 health. Obviously, there's a good chance our opponent did play around Repentance because they knew that's one of the secrets that would have been really, really bad for them. I mean, even right now, we only have 7 on board, which, you know, only 7. Like, 7's just not enough to be... Even if it went all of it went face, which it's not going to go, it wouldn't be that threatening because we don't have that much other direct damage in hand. We'll get another 3, which is nice, but it's really not the be-all, end-all right now. And the one nice thing is here against Warrior is we're able to continue to build this wider board with our hero power. And now, I mean, depending what we top deck next turn is going to determine what we do in our turn 8. We're either dropping Rag or we're dropping Tirion. We hope our opponent doesn't drop Menagerie right now. That would be very bad for us. Dirty Rat Brawl would probably be bad for us. There's a lot of bad things at this point in the game. Oh, that kind of does hurt, actually. And having to get through the 4 health right now is just an awkward break point for us. And obviously, it could get worse depending what taunt was selected from our opponent. But maybe if they just pass here, we could be cooking here. We could be cooking. This is definitely not a deck that is... Oh, that's brutal for us. How do we do this? How do we do it? Would we Rag or would we Tirion right now? I think we're going to Tirion. Hold on. Go hit, face. This heals 2. So opponent's at 15. Then we drop Rag. This is only 7 damage. So then we need another 8 to get to face. We'll have 3, 6... Then we needed 8 to get to face. So we need Rag to get to face the following turn, plus the Consecration to help us clear the board. So that's not going to do it. So I think we set up for a little slower. And we're going to go this to get rid of a little bit of the armor. And yes, this armor generation is a big problem for us. There's no doubt about that. But our opponent has played 1 Whirlwind and 1 Ravaging Ghoul. So maybe they don't have a whole ton of AoE effects left. But they probably do have big taunts in their hand now. And I think the worst one for us would be Primordial Drake would be pretty bad. We would actually punch through it with the Consecration. Ugh. If one of our minions wins here, we're in pretty good shape, to be honest. That's really unfortunate. That is really unfortunate, actually. That's just absolute worst result. Obviously. Obviously, if you lose a brawl. Wow. That's an interesting order of cards right now. Equality consecrates 11 to face. 12, 13 to face. I kind of love it. So we have a whole bunch of... we don't have any more direct damage. It obviously would have been better to have other Rag out right now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens if our opponent... obviously, if our opponent has Primordial Drake, we're almost lost. But I feel like that's kind of... This is the winning play that we had to make right now. Because otherwise, there'd be no way for us to push through. Just because that... maybe we didn't need to. Maybe we didn't need to, but then again, maybe we needed to, so... Yeah, maybe we could have just traded the Blaze Caller. Yeah, I agree, actually. That was an aggressive Equality Consecrate. We didn't need to do that. We should have set up the Consecrate to help us with lethal later on. I agree. If that's what you're thinking, I totally agree with you. I just kind of panicked and wanted to go aggressive there. And there was no need for me to be aggressive there. When we had 15 damage in hand. Like, you know what I mean? We knew we had Ashbringer. We knew we had 15 damage. Like, there's just no reason. Oh, shields. Well, to be honest, the shield slam on that when we're getting a rag right now isn't the end of the world. So we're gonna hope that we somehow pull it off. Our opponent's at 10, which means they'll be at 12 at the end of next turn. They will obviously be able to armor up, and then shield slam us down again, which would be unfortunate. AoE into Sleep with the Fishes is going to be less likely just because Rag is at 8 health, but obviously there's still the fear of executes. Like if we get hit with one right now, that would be horrible. This is horrible. Do we want to do this? No, but we'll do it this way. So if our opponent does for some reason kill the Doomsayer, then we would be able to equality, and I mean, this is 6 plus 5 is only 11, so we're not going to be able to get through that way. Yeah, that was a mistake. I agree. That was definitely a mistake on the equality Consecrate there. I got really trigger happy of trying to think that we could push through, but our opponent definitely stabilized with a couple of those shield blocks, which I guess we also should have kind of foresaw coming because our opponent wasn't really playing a lot from their hand, so we could have expected it to be more kind of reactive sort of removal and things like that. Uh-oh. That's not how this card works, friend. Okay. Okay. That's potentially terrifying with what's going on here. Hydrologist. We equality first. Then we will Hydrologist so that our Hydrologist keeps that big 2 hit points that we need it to have. We'll go this way. Then we will go... I think 5 to face is more important. Because this can only take 1 damage anyways. And sure, our opponent can play something and then clear, but I feel like this at least gives us a chance. Oh yeah, that was definitely a misplay there by us. Opponent would have had to have used some resources on the Blaze Caller. And then wouldn't have had as many resources. Oh boy. It goes to 1 health, so that's something at the very least. How can we do this? How can we do this? I guess Sunkeeper Tarim is a great top deck. Firefly is not an excellent top deck. But we will take it, and we will do a little bit of face damage. Do I play in? Yeah, no, I'll hang on to it. This 1 damage I don't think is any sort of breakpoint for us. And we're just kind of expecting our opponent to start taunting up like crazy anyways. And yeah, the quest at this point is just one of those inevitabilities for us to lose to. But maybe there's still a way that we do it. Yeah, well, we held back the Flame Elemental for a reason, right? Spike Ridge Steed, there we go. And we play an Elemental 1 more turn in a row. So that's something. So at least now we can kind of activate the Servant of Kalamos thing going on if we need that. Or if we're able to ever find a Servant of Kalamos, that is. Yeah, this was very winnable by us. It's kind of upsetting now that when you think about it, when you think like, oh, we should have had that. Just because the way oh boy. And that's one of the other cards we needed an equality for, because that's just too many hit points for us to deal with right now. This is 3, 6, 7. That's 2, 4, 6 more armor. There's nothing we can find now that's gonna get us through here. We can punch this way though. I mean, we'll hold off and we'll see what happens. But I don't see how we're gonna be able to pull this out. Maybe our opponent fatigues somehow. But I expect... Oh, there we go. Execute's kind of awful for us. Becomes a 2-6. Couple 2-6s, so that's kind of nice. Maybe if we dodge that last brawl. Maybe that's a thing. Shield slam? Oh, just regular slam. Oh, maybe we get that fatigue win if our opponent doesn't pay attention to what's going on. Maybe they're just digging for brawl, that's why. Oh, it's also a decent card for them. What else could we top deck right now that would actually be any good? I guess Sunkeeper Tirion. Tirion would be pretty good, right? Tirion would be good. Stonehill Defenders would be good. Oh, Sleeping with Fishies. No good at all. Doing a little face damage. Oh, and our opponent does get another big minion, actually, from that. So that's unfortunate. 2+3, plus a couple to face. I mean, it has to happen, even though our opponent's just going to get an even bigger... a bigger minion out of that. But at least we, you know, eliminate a couple armor. Don't know if that's going to matter, really. And yeah, actually, our opponent will have one more of those hatchlings, the 5 mana. Where did it go? Yeah, the Direhorn hatchling. So they'll have one more. So they delay their fatigue by an extra turn there as well. Which is unfortunate for us. We know there's still big taunts in our opponent's hand. Like, that's not going to be a surprise when they come out. To be honest, they might even have another Ravaging Ghoul, which would be like the perfect card just to wipe our board out. Opponent's opting for face damage, which is cool. Just going for Sulfuras. Maybe? Oh my goodness. That's a pretty good card to play against us right now. I guess True Silver, it it has to happen. There's no other play. It's 2 to our opponent's face, which is nice, I guess. Not that it's gonna matter, since they will be able to shuffle cards into their deck. We are kind of low on any sort of draw with this deck. That is kind of interesting, though, actually, about this deck. How we have lots of card generation, right? I guess we need to top deck Aldor Peacekeeper to keep us alive. Would be nice. Sure. That's a good one. Hey, that's maybe a card. I don't think we ever get through these, do we? I don't know. Opponent's out of cards, so that's something. But, I mean, it's still going to be like 1 plus a 2. Plus a 3. Plus a 4. No, I don't think we'll ever be able to get through. I think their armoring up is going to be able to deny. And then, yeah, Sharp Gadget and Steel is also going to do a number on us. That's also unfortunate, because now we can't just punch into this twice. Well, there goes that. What could we possibly top deck? I guess Sunkeeper is a card. That's going to be lethal, isn't it? Maybe not lethal. Maybe not lethal. I wonder if there's draw in our opponent's hand. Like, there's a potential lethal now. I don't think they can clear. It can get down to like a 50-50 now. Hit. Hit. I don't know. Maybe. I imagine our opponent does have lethal here somewhere. 13 health. 13 health back up to a couple more. Oh boy. Oh my goodness. That's not getting through. We're not getting through that anytime soon. Oh, well, a couple cards too late, Sunkeeper. Oops, and that was a misplay. Haha. That's funny. That is actually funny how we misplayed that one. Oh well. We need this to go face right now, I think. If this actually, if our opponent's hero's power goes face right now, then we did completely misplay. Yep. Because we would have been able to clear these next turn if we had... Okay, we couldn't have cleared that anyways. What can we top deck? I guess if we top deck a Stonehill Defender, we can go wide. And that's pretty wide. Out of my way. I guess we go... As much as the Bog Creeper is much better, I think Fen Creeper is the choice, just so we have more things to play, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So now there's a lower chance of our opponent hitting us with the hero power. Oh boy. Oh boy. I mean, our opponent just hero powers, right? I mean, they can punch through slowly. They can slowly start punching through our minions, but... Brawl? No. Oh no, there's no way now unless we get another Stonehill. So we have to win we have to win the brawl, win the 50-50, and then get Stonehill Defender probably. Again. Doomsayer it is. Doomsayer it is. So we have to dodge this twice more. I mean, it's 33% chance to not lose, right? There we go. Do we have any direct damage left? Oh! Oh! Is that a win? Oh, that's the most ridiculous of all time. Oh my goodness. Now, okay, to be fair, we did make that misplay in the mid game, so we should have lost this. But we do have that healing for a reason. That's absolutely ridiculous. We were able to grind out basically one of the premier, like, strongest control decks right now. That's hilarious. That is going to be it for this video. Those are two really interesting games with what I think is a very interesting deck, to be perfectly honest. I really like this deck. I've always enjoyed the kind of mid-rangey Paladin. I have no problem with the Murloc Paladins. I did play it a bunch, actually. It definitely is a very powerful deck, but I kind of like these decks that curve a little bit more high, a little higher. But that's going to be it, everyone. If you made it to this point in the video, you might as well hit that subscribe button right on top of the Novice Engineer below and the big red play button. Thanks for hanging out with me. Keep your stick on the ice.